I know a lot of streamers that use XSplit. And especially a lot of streamers who do exactly what I'm doing. Not, playing ladder and stuff. So I don't know. Does it matter? Like, does it matter if I'm using XSplit? People see, this is what I mean. Like, people seem to get so bothered by the fact I use XSplit as well. Like, I like using XSplit. Does it matter if I use XSplit? No, not really. It's not really affecting anyone watching, is it? No, not really. You know what? I actually think, now it actually comes to mind, I actually installed OBS, I think, because of the webcam lagging issue. I actually remember that it made absolutely no difference. So, now that I think of it, it's not even an XSplit issue that's caused this discussion. Anyways, let's jump into this and see how we're going to do this. Third place match here today, top left side of the map, our red Zerg player from Psystorm Gaming is True. As we have to the bottom right, Hurricane, our blue Protoss player. Remember, after this Showtime champ in our finals will be coming on up. Let me just change the title of the stream quickly. Sweet, perfect. Alright. So let's see how this is gonna go as we see a gateway coming up at the front here, and we begin to get this rolling and looking to see what's going to happen. Cybernetics core will come down from Hurricane as well at the front of this wall, and again just start setting up into this hatchery on the way down too. Probe on the way up as well. And you'll see this simulator just coming down to the right hand side of the base. Very, very dull. After our XSplit discussion, this is really a dull introduction to the game. I mean, it's PvZ, and it feels as though, I always feel like this in a lot of matchups. If you cast a lot of matchup in a row, you do start or run out of things to say all the time in the start of games. And when we've cast so much PvZ especially, it really feels as though it's just at that point where you guys sort of know what's going on. You guys know what's happening. We know Belshir is a map where the third base comes fairly easily, but there is definitely ways to attack into and be aggressive. And all the rest of that too. So let's just sit back, relax, enjoy the startup of this game, and see where we're going to go. As an Overlord coming down towards the bottom right. Stargate coming up in the main base too. And the Zergling speed on the way up in the main of True as well. So that's on the way out here. We're going to see drones just starting to transfer down into the natural, etc. And the third hatchery coming up as well. So both players playing pretty standard so far. Again, all eyes on True, and well, that's the sort of reason why Evolution Chamber. That's the sort of thing we might have expected True to do. Start being aggressive, start all-inning, start just trying to catch Hurricane a little bit off guard and all the rest of it. Now, with the Stargate opening from Hurricane, well, it's a good one against the initial Evolution Chamber. First you can get an Oracle, it's good DPS against Zerglings. And then you can also get the Phoenix out as well, and then you can start to chase down the Overlord, which is trying to drop Zerglings into your base. As the Adept doesn't see too much here, takes some hits and does get pushed away. Picks off about one Zergling, I think. So there's Adept comes down the left-hand side, dropping Overlord coming in. It's just going to be the 8 Zerglings, actually, so not too many to drop. It's not going to be straight up all in. Just going to look to pick up a couple of kills and go from there as Hurricane. Not sure if he's actually seen this yet with this pylon or when he came in to build this probe. Oracle's going to pop, is actually going to go up the right-hand side. It's going to be in the, well, pretty much the worst possible position. As we're going to be seeing these Zerglings run forwards, and, well, nothing right away in position because that Oracle went away. And it means these Lings do have a moment or two to try and get some damage done. Oracle comes back, though, and now going to pop that Pulsar Beam. Lings are going to keep running around, though, and if nothing else, he is at least going to waste a lot of energy on the Oracle, meaning that there's less chance of damage being done across the map, and they hop back into the Overlord as well to make the most of it. So he's going to drop back off, as I guess he was expecting this Oracle to maybe be out of energy already. It's going to be out of energy now, but even if he can force a Pulsar Beam on the second Oracle, it's again going to be more damage done. And it just slows, Hurricane down so much, basically, from harassment he could be getting done at this point of the game. As we're going to be seeing these two Queens, just going to move forwards and just going to keep on working their way through these couple of Adepts. And this half Adept is going to go down. One Adept jumps up in towards the main base. Actually, a few drones and probes going down on either side of the map. Finally, these Lings finding some damage. And the Adepts finding some damage as well. So overall, pretty even trades. 41 to 35 workers 41 to 35 workers on the map now. 46 to 35. Still like it actually for True, because I feel as though he did kind of delay these Oracles so much, and yeah, I think that does add up to quite a lot actually. Delaying these Oracles, stopping them from scouting so much. Actually going to see a Queen here though, still going to go down, and this is a mistake from True straight up. I mean, there's no reason right now that he shouldn't be prepared for these Oracles after having bought so much time. As Lings sneak towards the main, Hurricane out of position momentarily with those Adepts. The Lings just snuck by and Hurricane didn't see it happening, so Immediately, more probes going to start dropping here. A couple killed so far. Probes will start being pulled in to fight this. It's still not going to be pretty as he targets some of the lower health ones. And still, oh, the Overlord just went down to the Void Ray. But 5 more workers, 6, 7 more workers. Oh, wow. True really starting to pull ahead in that worker count now. Continue to get into a bit of a better and better position. Obviously, the Evo Chamber earlier allows him to start setting up into that +1 melee as well, which with a Bane and Nest is very much sort of kind of common meta game of the PvZ matchup in recent months. I'm going to see Resonating Glaives coming in as a follow-up here from Hurricane. So just going in towards Glaives, the third Nexus as well, and already looking to be a bit more aggressive once again as he goes up towards the upper right-hand side. Sophia Debs to join up on the right-hand tower, and again the Oracles jumping into the main, don't find too much this time. 2 Queens in location. Adepts, are they going to commit to the shade? They very well might. It feels though true, I mean, especially against non-Glaives on these Adepts. He's going to be able to not just surround easily, but he'll pick up the kills without losing too much at all. Again, the lack of Glaives really does change things when it comes to kind of fighting Adepts, and well, as Oracles come forwards, they will start to push those Zerglings back, and actually Queens do get an Oracle. Hurricane just making a few mistakes here and there right now. Making quite a few mistakes here and there right now, as we see Void Ray looking around for more Overlord pickoffs. But a big Link counterattack, and after losing a lot on the map, I feel as though Hurricane might not have enough to just defend back at home. And even if this pylon gets overcharged, which it doesn't because the Mothership Core doesn't arrive in time, now what? Adepts still don't have Glaives, and there's +1 on these Zerglings, and so even if the Oracle overhead, there's not enough damage to get rid of these Zerglings fast enough. 2, 3 Adepts dropping, Nexus is going to fall, and all of a sudden, well, Adepts are about to shade in towards the third base mineral line, but still so much damage done by Hurricane. Sorry, done by True across the map. Could have snuck in there perhaps, but Adepts in position made him feel as though he didn't want to. Only a couple of workers going down. He'll shade in towards the natural now. More Lings, more Queens. Will continue to work his way through these Adepts, and again, it's actually good damage coming through from Hurricane in the end, but still doesn't make up for the lack of a third base. Well, I'm still not too sure about that one, as True's going to drop down the Nidus network. Looks though True wants to get aggressive right here. What's he got on the map? Just Lings and Queens. +1 missile upgrade just for Queens is kind of insane, but he's just going to go for it, and he's going to Nidus those Queens towards the front. How many of them has he got? 11? Obviously, it will help out against the Void Ray. Maybe he thought this was a bit more of a commitment to sky-based units. As True is going to come down to the south, and he's going to pop that Nidus very, very shortly, and you got to imagine it's going to be very scary for Hurricane to try and defend this. He does have Glaives now, but he just has a lack of units in general. 4 Depths, 3 Sentries, 1 Void, 1 Oracle. It's not a lot. The Void and the Oracle you can pretty much count out right away because of the fact there's going to be so many Queens coming across the map. I mean, there's a lot of Adepts, and they do have Glaives now. Is it going to be enough, though? Nidus Network is ready to be dropped down. Where does he drop it down, though? Maybe down the left as he comes over here with some more Zerglings. He's actually going to turn and fight against these Adepts over here, so he's going to get a bit of a surround right away. Now that Nidus starts to build, nice Prism Micro to keep some of these Adepts alive on lower health. However, he can't micro all of them, and now they all go down. And all of a sudden, this is looking very, very bad indeed for Hurricane, because the Nidus is about to pop. Lings are still in plentiful numbers, and this in general is going to be very, very difficult for Hurricane to turn around. Feedback's come in on a couple of the Queens at the front. Now he'll morph in an Archon. That's something True will look to fight onto. He gets rid of the Prism, and that is just less micro capability now in the game for our Protoss player. The Archon will come up, will help against a few of these Zerglings, but I mean, it's still going to get taken down pretty quickly by the Queens in the back. Mothership Core going down, Oracle too. And the Maul comes out. Where is the reinforcing Zerglings? I guess they're not here just yet. He's having to drop a lot of transfuses to keep the Nidus alive. Now the Zerglings coming across the map, and that should give True enough to keep on really pushing forwards here. The fresh third base is in a lot of trouble, I feel, in the next few moments. Another feedback nicely placed on a high energy Queen gets the kill. Void Ray now going down, though. Another feedback getting rid of those potential transfuses. Really does give a lot of longevity to those Queens, and one of the real pushing powers as the third base begins to drop, though. GG. True number 2. Let's see how this is going to go, guys. Jump in game. Introduce our players. Up 1 in the bottom right-hand side, representing Psystorm Gaming. It is True. Psystorm having a pretty good weekend with Gumiho taking home the Ting Open. And to the bottom left-hand side, the red Protoss player. It is Hurricane. I hope the split is 60-30-10. I mean, I just hope there's actually a prize pool split set up. I mean, no one's told us what it is at all. It's been a bit of a, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing not to know. I thought it was being stupid suddenly asking, and then no, Naruto doesn't know either. So they are playing for some extra amount of money right here That's what is important. This could be the last game of the tournament for both of these guys. If True was to take it, he would take third place. It is just a best of 3. Our finals will be best of 5. Just lowering the the third place match to best of 3, probably because of the issues we had at the start of the stream, slowing us down quite heavily. Thank you very much, Moonstruck Full, for the 10-month resub. My man, how you doing? Yo, he says in the chat. Dude, what's up? How you feeling, man? Hope life is treating you well, and thank you for the 10 months of love. Always appreciating, dude. And of course, for you, I know it's way more than 10 months, but you changed names and all the rest of it. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you indeed. And as we set up right now, into game number 2, just waiting to see how the initial setup goes. Again, nothing too crazy, nothing too wacky from the get-go. I think the wackiest we've seen early game in PvZ so far today, at least in the first 2 or 3 minutes, is probably the honor ground build between Sham and Hurricane, where Hurricane went for the 2 gates into the low ground nexus. Even that isn't too weird, it's just not as common as it used to be. And then the low ground nexus, I guess, is a little bit strange, so... yeah, I guess, bits and pieces. Bits and pieces. What's up, Loco's stream? Apparently we just got auto-hosted up for quite a large number of viewers. I imagine it might have been a very recent stream going offline, so maybe if you're still there, what's up if you are? How are you doing, guys? Loco, my man. What a god. What a god. We've seen Adept on the way out here from Hurricane. Starting to be Chrono Boosters. We see the Cybernetic core, the Warp Gate on the way up. And we've seen the Twilight Council starting to build from Hurricane as well. So, going in towards the kind of Resonating Glaives opener most likely. Did we see a Archon drop play out of Hurricane? I don't think we did. I think that was Showtime we saw that from. Man, we've been watching so many PvZs, it's difficult to remember who did what in these PvZ matchups. It's keeping me very confused. You know, I'm like, was it this guy? Was it that guy? Was it him? Was it... ugh. We're a little bit all over the place trying to remember, but I think it was Showtime that did. I don't think Hurricane tried that against Cham. So you see an Adept shitting across the map here and just going to start working his way. We're doing a little bit of damage to that hatchery, so a little bit of damage being done as you can see a Stalker just not even actually going to deal with this Overlord. So Overlord getting to fly away full of health, and that's obviously great. Full of health now means you get a better chance to come back in and scout later without being shut down, denied, no problem at all, you know. So that's kind of neat as we see these 2 Zerglings right here towards the front. Just setting up and looking to see what's going to happen as this Stalker from Hurricane working his way through the Overlord. And as the Overlord goes down, we're just going to be seeing Hurricane does at least deny some scouting here. But I mean, he's already kind of shown everything, right? Twilight Council seen. I guess he hasn't seen maybe the lack of a Robo. But that's about it. So not really much he hasn't seen. As this time it is going to be the lack of a Robo Resonating Glaive opening, it would seem. No Robo coming down just yet. So again, maybe a faster third Nexus. And just going to be a little bit less harassment on this other side of the map. As True just starts up the +1, Melee playing super standard right from the get-go again. And he's still only on a spawning pool and is just going to be making lings to try and defend against this. We're going to actually see a Dark Shrine coming down as a follow-up. So Hurricane going to go for the very aggressive sort of Glaives build, which is Glaives into DTs. Obviously the idea is you harass enough with the Adepts initially to maybe distract your opponent, keep him busy, and maybe he's just not quite ready for those DTs by the time they come in once again. As you have those Zerglings. Still just sat out towards the front of the third base here. Some more Zerglings coming over as well. I'm going to be sitting over here in the next few moments. +1 melee, about coming up to being about halfway done. And again, this Queen just going to be looking to try and inject here and there as well. As a lot of these Lings are going to come in towards the center of the map. And actually going to see them surrounding these Adepts pretty quickly. So Adepts do get surrounded. And that's a really nice pick-off right away from True. Does he get all of them? Just one escaping? Well, no, it died, right? Wow, he kills all of it, and that means that his follow-up push is going to keep on moving towards the third Nexus, or where the third Nexus would want to be. He might even try and fight this here. Pylon is going to take some damage as well, you know, and it will go down. I mean, it definitely helps with the damage output, but I mean, he still makes a pretty good trade out of this. Pretty much all the Adepts will go down once again, and he's obviously just going to be delaying the third Nexus with this, as he continues to fight towards those Adepts, but now has to pull back a little bit. Dark Templar will be able to now warp in, of course, but he's a little bit preoccupied here, Hurricane, trying to deal with all of these Zerglings. You see one more Adept going down. Man, what a trade by Tree. He's even going to get this pile on the low ground. So again, no further overcharge on this third Nexus for just a little bit longer. Taking a good opportunity now to start warping in some extra drones. I mean, we say it looks great, but of course, in the meanwhile, he's actually losing a lot of Zerglings as well. So resources lost is pretty even. It's not the... I think the main thing is he denied the third Nexus for so long, and that's an advantage you come off as true. No way did he not spot those DTs there. Instantly starts morphing in Overseer, and... oh, well, now he really is in a good position, because now he knows about the DTs. He's got an Overseer coming in, a few more Lings, and a Roach. He could do some more Roaches, but he's a little bit gas-starved at the moment. Actually starts +1 missiles and Roach speed. As these DTs approach, Overseer is here. He's just going to get a full surround, and that's going to be pretty neat pickoffs. I mean, all he loses here, really, is a few Zerglings once again, which is more or less fine. Guess that last DT too. And again, everything Hurricane is doing so far is really just being shoved down by Zerglings. Good scouting by True, good awareness to pick up on the fact that DTs were coming across the map there. And that's something that could have very easily slipped out of his vision. And then if he doesn't have an Overseer in position, it becomes a very different scenario on that side of the map. And Hurricane probably finds a lot of damage to put him into a much better position to play forwards from. So that was a really nice keen eye from True, recognizing that. And now I wonder if he just feels as though he's got enough to all in. More Roaches being built, +1, and Roach speed about to finish. It's all lining up nicely for a large aggressive attack from True. And honestly, I mean, why not? Because you think about it, you know, Hurricane's been set so far behind multiple times in this game. He's now just lost 3 sentries and a Stalker. Yeah, there's no way True doesn't commit to an attack here. As you can see a few Lings going to the side. They start working their way through in Adept. This Immortal is on its own. The Immortal on its own is against Zerglings does not never really bode well. He comes up the ramp with a few more workers as well. Actually, in the main base, though, Adepts are going huge. Drones are dropping. While True is looking to do pretty good over here, he's losing so many workers to these Adepts. Oh man, well, Ravagers are morphing in, so True still has a very powerful push coming forward. 62 army supply against the 20. And so he has a lot of pushing power, but man, that Warp Prism play, the DT and the Adepts have just done so much all of a sudden, pretty much out of nowhere. And it started to turn this game around a little bit, perhaps. We've seen earlier Hurricane against Chow multiple times. The counterattacks have been what have saved Hurricane time and time again, and that might be very true right now, but he kills his own Overseer with the Corrosive Biles. No Overseer means that this DT is able to be warped in against this, and True, from such a huge lead, is losing this game now, I think. You'll see DT is able to start moving forwards. The fact he just biled his own Overseer is insane. It really just makes this so much more difficult for him than it needs to be, because he could keep pushing forwards, but now he can't, and now he's on 15 drones, and obviously Hurricane is able to start saturating free bases, and he's going to have a good economy to build up an army to actually be able to shut True down. Wow, this is, well, I think if there's ever been a throw, this is pretty much the definition of it. This is insane. True still has the potential to push through and to still just close the game out right now, but he still isn't bringing an Overseer. He does have an Overseer. He needs to do something soon, though. The longer he waits at this point, the way worse it's going to get from him. He's playing off of 13 workers against 56. He has to try and win this game in the next few moments. Nice cancel on the pile that was just going to get bowed down anyway. Force fields are good. Files are on cooldown. I cannot believe that Hurricane is going to take this into a game number 3. He was so dead in this game. He was down 50 army supply. And then True biled his own Overseer. He let the DT and 2 Adepts on the other side of the map get so much damage done. And now pushing forward, as you can just see, the numbers are not here for True. The Immortals will get rid of these Roaches. The Archon's going to do a good job tanking. I mean, the Ravager Bowels are maybe the one thing that can still keep True in this to some extent, but it's just not going to be enough. What a turnaround in this game for Hurricane to take us into game number 3 and to keep his own battle alive, moving towards the 3rd place position in this tournament. GG's. Hurricane takes right now. Let's go in game and see what's going to happen as we have to the bottom right our Blue Zerg player opening with a pretty fast triple hatch. It is True from Psystorm Gaming. He's going up against Purple Protoss player to the top left-hand side, Hurricane. Man, game 3, and this is of course just the final game now of this best of 3 third place match. Our finals today will be best of 5 once again. It was initially meant to be a best of 5 this third place match, but because of the delay at the start of the day, we did delay it just a little bit. So still one more best of 5 to come. This could turn into quite a long stream. We've been live for 3.5 hours already. And this one could really start to go the distance as we get this set up and see what's gonna happen. Game 3 of the series. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Someone had some lag right there, and I don't think it was us. That was a little bit of a freeze-up, wasn't it? Anyways, let's see how this is going to go. Twilight Council on the way down. Robo And so this time we're looking towards probably that Dark Shrine and maybe an Archon base drop to get us going. No, Resonant Glaives again, alright. I'm wrong, as we see the Adept over here. Sees the third hatchery finished up already, so knows it's a nice fast third hatchery from his opponent. He's just going to opt for Glaives again, but man, really did put that Robo down nice and quickly, didn't he? I wonder if he got something aggressive planned here, you know. Is he going to make like an Immortal super fast? And I mean, it's kind of weird if he's already got Glaives on the way, but I mean, it's a possibility. I guess the issue with that is you just can't get your gateways up fast enough, and then you can't get enough gateway units out anyways, so... Oh, maybe you can. It's cross spawns though, right? So is he really going to look to do something like super aggressive and cross spawn Cactus? I mean, obviously it's a large map, and cross spawns just emphasizes that feature. As we're going to be seeing true. Nice Spore Crawl, just to make sure that the drone is not going to get taken down. Might even just let that finish if he really wants to. I mean, he hasn't really had... He's had some scan here. He sees the Robo, but he doesn't know if there's maybe an Oracle on the way across the map as well anyways. There's 5 extra gates. Wow, he's just going to go straight up Adept all in. That's why the Robo was at that sort of timing. Okay, well, today I'm learning. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? It's the only other reason to get this Robo so quickly. We figured something up was kind of up, but didn't quite know it was this. Anyways, let's see if Drew can figure it out. He is starting to move forwards, trying to scout in. Is he going to be able to pick up the information he needs, though? Is he going to see these gateways? Is he going to go that far in? And he sees the gates on the low ground already. He should have seen the War Prism coming out as well, though. Tree for Roach Runner about to finish up. Has got a few more Overlords building too. I guess he's getting ready to just build Roaches. His Overlord over here just turned away. Didn't go that far into the main. 7 Roaches now on the way up. Is it going to be enough? Well, I guess we'll... I guess we'll see as we see a few more Adepts coming down towards the south side. And, well, only 4 to begin with, but they're already going to be here before the first few Roaches pop. Now Roaches will turn and fight, and now... If True didn't know before, now he definitely does. More Adepts warping in. I guess only 4 of them, though. Doesn't give him too much information. Now he sees some Stalkers as well, and True... He has drones AFK to the right-hand side. His units are just a little bit segregated from each other right now, and that will hurt. But he is starting to bring those Roaches together, and he is starting to work his way through these Adepts. And he's able to get mining again once again over here. The Adepts actually canceling their shade, going to stay fighting over towards the third base as Hurricane tries to push his way through these Roaches, and so far it's going well. Nice pickup on some of the low health Adepts as well. We're just going to be seeing these units continuing to work their way through the third hatch. I think the thing is, True just can't hold on to the third hatch. Is there a way for him to stay in this game after losing the third hatchery? Well, that's going to be the tough question. I'm not really sure about it. It's never great to lose the third hatchery, but sometimes it's recoverable. But you have to really end up in a decent position. Here we go. Roaches and Queens going to start fighting in. Again, the Prism Micro is just keeping so many units alive for so much longer, basically giving all of these units blink to some extent. Obviously, it's a bit more technical, the Micro involved in that, but you can just see that True's units are disappearing. He did not cut drones in time for this. He didn't have the initial wave of units. He needed to start shutting this down. And so now Hurricane can just keep on pushing forwards, and it looks as though True really does not have much of an answer to this any longer. You see another couple of Roaches to the side here. Now this really is... I mean, it's going to be True trying to fight on in, but into what? You know, so many Stalkers, the Adepts as well. I mean, he's just going to be able to hear Hurricane in a moment or so to just warp in once again. So many of these Roaches pulling back and staying alive on low health is obviously helping, but, I mean, for how much longer? We actually see more Lings and Roaches still pushing forwards here, and it's still just not quite enough. You can see those Lings die almost instantly, and Queen's time to target the Prism down. The Stalkers keep on pushing through as well, and another Overlord going down. Just in case the supplies block True, it's a worthwhile thing to just get rid of nice and quickly there. As, well, Hurricane, a well-executed attack is going to end up putting him in third place of this event. As we're going to be seeing the Stalkers continue to push forwards, this Overlord will go down. A few more Adepts, an Adept and a few more Zealots warping in. Again, just getting anything he can in front of these units, and GG. True is going to be kicking himself for throwing game number 2.